So what is transmedia? The term transmedia can be described as the translation and continuation of narrative across varying channels of media, such as television, films, text, audio, and visual representations. Transmedia is predominant in the use of capitalisation when sharing a narrative of a mass-scale audience. A common illustration of transmedia may be how movie series can be derived originally from written context, and then later, the same narrative can be made into interactive media with its adaptation to video games. Alper and Her-Stephenson illuminate the Garfield and Friends comics as an example of transmedia. Once only seen in newspapers in the late 1970s, its characters have been later produced into television and film in more recent years. It could be suggested that transmedia allows for narratives to not only advance, but remain relevant over extensive periods of time, as the mediums in which they're represented in appeal to succeeding generations. Transmedia consists of multifaceted modes of narrative transport, and it could be suggested that, because of this, transmedia provides the opportunity for fictional characters to gain a cult following. An example of a cult following could be the superhero franchises in the 20th and the 21st century. Similar to the origins of Garfield and Friends, the superhero storylines were birthed by comic illustration and have later become a part of Hollywood's blockbuster pop culture. Superhero films are produced for cinema multiple times a year, being subsequently followed by video game adaptation, children's television, animation, Netflix or Foxtel original series, personified social media accounts, and even children's toys and collectible items. When considering the superhero genre, many individuals may associate with the recent success of Marvel Studios. However, superhero transmedia success can arguably be suggested to have begun with DC Comics' Batman, originating in 1939. The original Batman television series was broadcast in 1965. Since then, Batman has remained a household name for 3/4 of a century. It can be argued that this story's perpetual relevancy is due to the utilization of transmedia. Batman has been reinvented to be told by motion pictures, television, animation, comics, video games, and websites. The Batman Archive is an example of curating adverse media modes to describe different parts of one story. McDonald and Parker elaborate on the idea that multimedia can be used in the education system to introduce classic literature to students that may otherwise be uninterested in reading. The use of transmedia's technology is advantageous in the way that classic literature can be translated into audio or ebook formats, with the availability to be accessed via iPod devices and smartphones. The use of audiobooks and ebooks allows for students to read, observe, and listen at their own individual pace, without the intimidation of fast readers in the classroom. Classic texts that may be far removed in a cultural sense from contemporary generations are notorious for their complexity to comprehend. The use of transmedia in the classroom allows for students to view animations of classic texts, such as Shakespeare, as to gain a greater depth and understanding from the past use of spoken and written word. To summarize, transmedia is the act of sharing stories and ideas through adverse media vessels. This method can help to franchise and profit off a narrative through media saturation. Transmedia also cements fictional concepts into pop culture through cult following. Transmedia is a common aspect of entertainment, however, it is not a new concept. It can allow for older narratives to resurface through the reinvention of their media formats. Finally, transmedia is not mutually exclusive to entertainment. It can help aid classroom learners by providing greater understandings of foreign concepts through contemporary audio and visual representation.